Bears fans, welcome back. It is Wednesday, 10-30-24. Today, the injury report comes out for the Chicago Bears. They held a presser today. With it being Wednesday, I am rocking me some Coach Matt today. Giving Coach Matt some love. Let's get into this. Man, oh man, Bears fans. The Flus has done it again. Not taking accountability. We need to talk about it. The presser today was very depressing. I had the live stream on while I was at work, listening in, and I have it pulled up on Twitter here, some of the quotes from this presser. We will also go over the injury report and then a Vikings trade that kind of, in my opinion, makes the Bears look a little silly with what they got going on with injuries. So, let's get into it. The Bears held their press conference, and I think that, relating back to my last video, I think that I am officially out on Matt Eberflus. I would love to have him stay with the team as a defensive coordinator, but I am on this thin of ice with this guy. He reminds me a lot of Matt Nagy. He beats around questions. He gives very politically correct answers and tells us things that he thinks we want to hear, not what we need to hear. And it's just not working out anymore. He says today. He says today that they are holding accountability behind closed doors. The problem that I have with that is that you are the head coach, and it is really, really sad when you have your team captains coming out taking more accountability than you in the media. It can't happen. You just can't have that. Granted, do I think that it helps when your captains are willing to say those things out loud? Sure, but it makes you look like you don't have any balls. I mean, you have to take some of that responsibility. You have to take that responsibility. You got to put that on your shoulders for your players. That is your job, Matt Eberflus, and it is your job alone. It's no one else's job. It's not mine. It's not you, the viewers. To a degree, it's not even the players. When it comes to talking to the media and dissecting these problems, it is on you. It is on Shane Waldron. That's who it lies on. And again, I really appreciate the captains of the team coming out and speaking against what happened, what went wrong, and what the players are doing to take the responsibility and the accountability and what they're doing to help better each other and learn from the issue. Now, if you come out in Arizona and you play really good football, you play smart football, say that your offense scores before halftime and your defense doesn't make those mistakes, say that there's a Hail Mary in there somewhere by Arizona, whether they're down by 2 or down by 21, if you don't make the same mistakes, okay, then I could get behind it just a little bit. Just a little bit. You know, you really can't be giving these political answers to everybody and then side-skirting the questions. You can't do it. We saw it with Matt Nagy for 4 years, and finally, us Bears fans, we had enough. And it's starting to look like a movie we've already seen before. And I'm looking at some of these posts. Chat Sports, Matt Eberflus failed the Chicago Bears on Sunday. Yes, I agree, 100%. You had that game won. You should have locked it down. You should have called the timeout. And again, you didn't want to take responsibility for any of that. You didn't want to take responsibility for the 14 yards before the Hail Mary. You didn't want to take responsibility for Tyreek Stevenson jawing down the sideline, being 40 yards away from where the ball was snapped. And you didn't want to take responsibility for not taking a timeout when your own safety comes out and says, we should have taken a timeout. I don't understand it. Your math ain't mathing here, Eberflus. Somehow, You're making 2 + 2 = 5, and I want to know how you're making that math work. I really do. I love your defense. I love your defense, and that is your only saving grace right now, is that your defense is just locking every high-scoring team down. It's the only thing you got right now. It's the only thing you got right now. Sometimes Sports, Bears coach Matt Eberflus refuses to say Wednesday whether cornerback Tyreek Stevenson should start Sunday against the Cardinals after he committed a blunder against the Commanders that turned into national news and converted Hail Mary. Exactly. Again, I understand. I will understand it if you make those corrections and those corrections hold merit when we watch the Bears play on Sunday going forward. However, there are things that need to be said out loud in the media sessions. That's not on your players. Even Tyreek Stevenson came out and did an apology to everybody and then talked to the team separately, and even he talked to the media about it. Like, even he's bearing more responsibility than you are, and that's just unacceptable. Plain and simple, unacceptable. I'm really curious tomorrow to see the coordinators' press conference tomorrow, because I want to see if Shane Waldron takes some responsibility for some of those play calls, because if he's taking more responsibility than the head coach, then we really got problems. Really got problems. And like I said on my previous video, I'm not completely out on Shane Waldron yet. He's having to learn with the Chicago Bears how they operate, how they play, and he's having to learn with a new quarterback. I'm not completely out on him yet, even though he makes some colossally dumb play calls. I'm not completely out on him yet. On decision to have a walkthrough, not at practice. Because of the O-line depth, a little bit banged up, we decided to walk through, got a chance to get everybody reps, and it was beneficial based on the numbers the performance staff gave me for a lot of other folks too. Okay, now, kind of understand the walkthrough. I was listening to another podcast at work that said, after the loss week 9 last year to the Colts, the Bears did the same thing. I'm kind of okay with that, giving everybody just an extra day, especially when you're looking at wanting to get Brisker and Gordon back. I can understand that part just a little bit. But you should really be hammering these guys in practice. I think that you've gotten to that point where you need to start kind of laying down the law just a little bit here, okay? I understand wanting to make sure that guys are healthy. And another piece to that quote, those first couple of words, because of the O-line depth. Listen, this is more on Poles than it is Eberflus. I mean, it kind of is on Eberflus too, because you're not giving other guys chances to play when you know current guys in your offensive line are just not doing the job. You're in a position now where you're probably going to have to play Nate Davis with all these injuries that are coming up, which that sucks because nobody wants him to play. And also, you're looking at having to give up some. You stated at the beginning of the year that you were going to compete for the NFC this year. If that's going to happen, well, I hate to say it, but you're going to have to give up quite a bit in probably draft capital and a couple of players. Get that offensive line some help. You're almost putting yourself in a must-need position to do that. Because us as Bears fans, we're sick of hearing next year. You guys built out your defense. Your defense is outstanding. Everybody knows this. We can't wait for another draft and another offseason to get what you need on the offensive line. It has been a problem for 15 years. We've had the same problem with Mitch Trubisky, with Jay Cutler, Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, and now Caleb Williams. You are going to get him killed for the next 3 months if you just decide to go and wait until the offseason. It is ridiculous. You need to get him some offensive line help. You need to do it. And that piggybacks into what I was talking about with the Vikings. They had an injury, and Minnesota went out and got Cam Robinson from Jacksonville. I mean, you're not in the way that the NFC North is playing, but their decision making is making you look so stupid right now. So stupid right now. They know that they have an injury. Cam Robinson, while probably not the best choice on the market, they're still going out there and trying to improve their offensive line when they had a hole poked in it. And then you got the Chicago Bears sitting here who are watching offensive linemen go off the board, and they're watching just everybody else do things to try to help their team, and they're not doing anything to help themselves. It's starting to hurt really bad. Oh, I am so sorry. I just got a case of the hiccups all of a sudden. But, other teams in the NFC North are doing things to make up for their injuries, and you just won't do it. You just won't do it. Make it make sense. Golly. We'll roll into the injury report here. I know that being today was a walkthrough, there's really not a lot to go over here. It's kind of the same thing here. I'm curious to see what happens with Braxton Jones and Montez Sweat. I think that they'll probably practice tomorrow. And then Tevin Jenkins came back into the game and then went out again with that knee problem. It says limited practice here. I'm assuming that that's just maybe he was just there walking around. I'm not sure. But the fact that it says limited practice at least gives me some hope that he's at least not going to miss time. So we'll see with him. Larry Borum and Ryan Bates, I'm pretty sure both of them are in that 21-day window for that designation to come back from injury reserve. So that's good. Again, I think that getting them back with the injuries that are piling up on the offensive line is huge. You're definitely going to want them. And then Amagaje, I guess he did something with his calf, and I'm not really sure what happened to him. To be honest, don't really remember him playing on Sunday, even though I watched the entire game. Ooh, sorry. I am so sorry. Even though I watched the entire game, I don't really remember seeing him on the field. But, I mean, third-round pick, he's supposed to be at least half decent and should help the offensive line. I'm not too sure. I don't remember seeing a whole lot of them on Sunday. So that's just on me not being observative enough. I was just mad. God. I was just mad at the fact that Caleb Williams was getting absolutely killed all day and didn't really seem to have enough time to really make anything develop other than the overthrows that he had. The big ones are Brisker and Gordon. They had them listed as did not practice today. I'm going to hold off on opinion on them until tomorrow. I really want to see if they practice tomorrow. I kind of assume that Gordon will. I'm more worried about Brisker at this point because, he didn't go to Jacksonville. There's the bye week, and then he had had also missed the game against the Commanders. So that is 3 full weeks to try and come back against that concussion. I know that it's his third. I know that you also don't want like a Tua kind of situation to where he's like, I know that, with 3 concussions in 3 seasons, he's kind of prone to it at this point. But, I just hope to see that he at least practices tomorrow, whether that's limited or full. I'm really not opposed either way. I just want to see what happens tomorrow, and if he does wind up practicing, and then Montez Sweat. I hope that that's nothing too serious. I hope that it was just a stinger, and he'll be good to go for practice tomorrow too, because that's a guy that you really don't want going down on your defensive line right now. Not the way that your defense is playing. I think that if you miss him in Arizona, that's going to be a problem going up against Kyler Murray. So, I mean, that's kind of my opinion there. Let's see here. There was one other thing I wanted to go over, but I don't have it pulled up in front of me at the moment. Yeah, I think to just wrap this up, since I kind of lost my last topic there, I think that Eberflus is at the point now where he's just got to show results going forward. He can't sit there and say that we're doing the accountability thing behind closed doors. I mean, like I said, we've seen that movie before with head coaches, and it never worked out. I think that you just need to start showing things publicly, because I think a lot of people in Chicago are starting to give a huge disapproval rating to Eberflus, and I'm definitely one of them. And I think a lot of people are going in that direction. It's not looking good for him, especially with the rumors about that offensive coordinator from Detroit, Ben Johnson. It really ain't looking good for the Flus right now. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy to hear some of the words come out of his mouth, man. I mean, another one from CHG. God, I am sorry about the hiccups, everybody. Came out of nowhere. CHGO Bears, which shout out to the CHGO Bears. Love that podcast. I listen to it every day. Fantastic content. Eberflus, I'm not calling a timeout before the Hail Mary. We will keep that in-house. You cannot keep it in-house, Eberflus. I mean, just take the L and move on. That's what your captains are doing. That's what Tyreek Stevenson did. Take the L, take the accountability, move on to next week. But you can't even do it. Listen up, Bears fans. Before these hiccups get completely out of control and I can't talk, and I go on a rant that'll get me just absolutely demonetized on YouTube, because that would suck. Tell me your reactions to all of this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like the video, share the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. I will talk to you all tomorrow when I see what happens with the coordinators meeting tomorrow. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will catch you all in the next one.